Fatima's Christkindl day. Brr! It was the coldest day of the year, only 23 degrees, and tiny flakes of snow were falling outside the window. Fatima smiled from her armchair, snug in her big maroon coat. "It's the last day of the market, Gulson," said Levent, adjusting his winter hat. "We have to go. Fatima loves the lights." Fatima loved going out, and the promise of a trip made her whole body wiggle with excitement. Gulson helped her into her wheelchair, making sure her lap blanket was tucked in tight. "Be good, Figaro," Fatima's mother whispered to their cat. Figaro, a big gray tabby, rubbed against Fatima's wheel before they rolled out the door. The drive took almost an hour, but Fatima didn't mind. She enjoyed watching the snow-covered trees fly by. Finally, they arrived in Mifflinburg. Levent carefully guided Fatima's wheelchair through the entrance archway, decorated with wooden soldiers and bright greenery. The market was dazzling, a whirlwind of happy noise and sparkling lights. The air smelled like cinnamon and pine. In the center of the street stood a giant, spinning wooden Christmas pyramid covered in candles and greenery. Gulson pointed toward it. "Look, Fatima, it's beautiful." Even though the narrow paths between the crowded stalls were tricky for Levent to navigate, he kept going slowly. Fatima was in her element. Being nonverbal didn't stop her from communicating. She waved her hand joyfully at everyone who passed by. Sometimes, when someone stood still beside her for a moment, Fatima would reach out and gently clasp their hand. People didn't mind. They understood that this was her way of saying, "Hello, I'm happy you are here too." Every shared handhold felt like a secret happy wish. Then, right next to a little wooden cabin, they spotted him. St. Nikolaos himself. He wore a long, rich red robe and carried a golden staff. Levent smiled and steered Fatima right up to him. It was time for a family picture. Gulson pulled out her phone and snapped the photo. Fatima giggled, tilting her head back, happy to be surrounded by the warmth of family and holiday magic. Every movement she made, from the slight nod of her head to the soft light in her eyes, told the story of her joy. Next came the treats. They found a stand selling warm, soft pretzels covered in coarse salt, and Levent bought steaming mugs of hot coffee for himself and Gulson. As they snacked, they listened to the cheerful, bright sounds of a German orchestra, playing trumpets and accordions nearby. Even though the snow was turning to flurries and the crowds sometimes made the trip challenging, it was the best day. Being together, seeing the lights, hearing the music, and sharing smiles with strangers. This was their perfect, joyful family time. Fatima's happiness made the whole cold market feel warm.